Hey everyone, Empowering True Crime Alex here. All right, so much to cover on the Idaho students' murders. Such an unfortunate incident. There is not a lot of new information, but I did want to cover some of the updated information that's come out over the last couple of days. And if you like my style of covering true crime more from an empathetic, an advocacy standpoint, helping to educate and advocate for the victims and to prevent this type of behavior or this type of action in the future, I appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. All right, let's get right into it. All right, so I first wanted to start off with the City of Moscow Police Department on Facebook, and they put out an update on Wednesday, late in the afternoon, early evening, and just a couple of things that they're saying here, just to update the public. And it says here, updated. At this time in the investigation, detectives do not believe the male Kaylee and Madison attempted to contact numerous times on November 13th is involved in this crime. Now, I find this one an interesting one, first of all, because he was the last person known for them to have contacted. It was very late. They contacted him multiple times in the middle of the night. And it was within the hour, allegedly, of when the students were killed. So it's interesting that they say that he is not involved in this crime. Now, they didn't specify that he's been cleared. They didn't specify that they know that he didn't do anything. They didn't specify that he had an alibi. They said they do not believe that he is involved in this crime. The language is a little vague. Doesn't mean that he can't be involved in the crime, but that's what they're saying, okay? The second point here is Kaylee mentioned having a stalker, but detectives have been unable to corroborate the statement. Investigators are requesting anyone with information about a potential stalker or unusual instances to contact the tip line. So, and maybe you live in Moscow or you know of the students, and or maybe you had seen her. If there is anyone who made any comments or unusual questions or anything that gave you like a feeling, like an awkward feeling, definitely make sure to contact the tip line. No bit of information is too small or too inconsequential. I think it's important that if there's something that didn't sit right with you, that you contact the law enforcement. Okay, the next thing, and this was mentioned in the press conference, I thought it was kind of interesting. It says throughout the investigation, investigators have collected 103 pieces of evidence, taken approximately 4,000 photos, made multiple three-dimensional scans of the residence, and hundreds of hours by ISP forensic science technicians and investigators. So one of the Idaho state law enforcement officers mentioned that this is all part of what goes into the forensic investigation. So there was biological evidence that was collected, like blood, for example. There was other types of evidence, such as footprints and other things like that could be used as evidence, and of course other things that show up in the crime scene, and that they made multiple three-dimensional scans of the house. So I thought that was very interesting. All of that is put together by the investigators, sent to the forensics labs to go through their process before they can identify or make any connections with potential suspect, potential killer. So I thought that was very interesting. That, unfortunately, it takes time to come up with quality information. So we do have to be patient, and they did ask for our patience in that, because they're not going to be able to, to put that together overnight. That's not something that can, information that can come out very, very quickly. It does take some time. And so for that perspective, I do feel like it's worth giving them a shot, especially if there wasn't a very, obviously, it's been now about 2 weeks almost. There obviously wasn't a very clear suspect or a clear weapon that was found very soon. So now we just have to trust that this forensic process is going to help find who the actual killer is. Alrighty, the next part here, tips. Detectives are looking for context to the events and people involved in these murders. Anyone who observed notable behavior, has video surveillance, or can provide relevant information is asked to call the tip line or upload digital media to the FBI. And so I thought that was really interesting. One of the things that they said in the press conference is that they were looking for information, like if here it says observe notable behavior. They're looking for information that was strange, like it just kind of like we were talking about with Stalker before. Was there somebody asked questions about the household, or somebody seemed really interested in when those students had their parties, or anything like that, or anything that can be potentially related to understanding or knowing who lives in the household, what they do, where they go, what times they're out, anything like that. Now, I get that these students were popular on campus. Many of them were part of the sororities and fraternities. And so they knew a lot of people. And so it's really interesting that that no suspect has been found, especially since with these types of cases that are so personal, like a knife, a stabbing, and in somebody's home like this, it's they were right to say that it appeared targeted. The thing is that it appears targeted, but they can't explain why or how they know that. And that might impede the investigation. I get it. So that's why they're not giving out information. However, it really is interesting to see like what maybe give a little bit more leaning into what may have been the lead idea of why they or who they thought was being targeted, that might jog some more memories or some more information that could come out about this investigation. All right, so I did mention last time I talked about this, that they created this page, which I thought was really great because there wasn't, I just thought that this was a really great addition. I thought it was a best practice, I had already opened it. I thought it was a great best practice to have this type of information for all law enforcement, to have a central page where all the information is there. I thought that was excellent. So again, credit where credit is due. Just from the top, one thing that was very interesting, the last time I saw this 2 days ago, back on Wednesday, it said it was called the King Street homicide, which is where the house was located on 1122 King Street. And I'm glad that they changed it to the Moscow homicide, because I remember thinking, oh my God, at the time I didn't say it. I remember thinking, man, if I have property, like that would really kill your real estate, I mean, on the other hand, to be fair, maybe in a few years it adds to the cachet of it, right? Like maybe there's like an urban legend or something like that. But right now, that is not great, right? Like that is not, you do not want to be known as like the street that you live on. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting that they changed that. All right, so the updated information, which some of which we've already mentioned, that this person, the male that Kaylee and Madison attempted to contact numerous times, he is called Jack, and he is either an ex or an on again, off again boyfriend of Kaylee's. Again, mentioned the stalker, the pieces of evidence that were collected, the tips. Okay, so we've already seen all of that. And so nothing new. I think one of the big things that remains sort of hard to understand why law enforcement hasn't updated yet. And I will be doing another video probably about the media coverage and some of the what they've done right, what they've done wrong. And really not just media coverage, really more about the communication from the police department, what's gone right, what's gone wrong. And one of the things is that, and even the sister of Kaylee has mentioned this 145 timeline that they keep repeating. I mean, if you're going to say the numbers, it's just strange to keep repeating information when it appears that there is other data to show otherwise, that that's not exactly the time, right? So I thought that was very interesting. And all right, so one other thing I wanted to mention is that they have said, and they have stated outright, at this time, detectives do not believe the following are involved in this crime: 2 surviving roommates, the male in the grub truck surveillance video, the hoodie guy, private party driver, the Uber driver who dropped off Kaylee and Madison, the male Kaylee and Madison called, and any individual at the residence when the 911 call was placed. And so that is new. And also, I do like, where is it? There was a Q&A. Maybe they moved it. Let's see here. I thought I had seen it earlier. Oh, this is just the press release. Oh, that should be correct. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's the press release. Let me get the other one. So what I just showed you was the press release, not the page that has all the information. The page that has all the information is here. All right. So forget what I said about the King Street versus the Moscow. They do have it called the King Street homicide. Okay, so forget that. The other one called it the Moscow homicide. Here it's called the King Street homicide. So what I said before, I stand, I stick to that comment. I don't think that's great for real estate, calling it the King Street homicide. And so anyway, okay. So most of the same information is here that's on that press release. And what I was going to show you, which the press release didn't have, is that this page, and this is the information. This is the page that's going to have be updated with all the information, and I'll make sure to link a comment or link that in the description. Is all the frequently asked questions. I really like that. I think that's really well done and really great. Even like the rumors, right? Even they address the rumor control. So I thought that was really great. And even things that people are interested in, like everyone's like, what happened to the dog? They have a whole thing about the dogs. Other similar incidents of stabbings or killings of animals were mentioned as well. And let's see. So back to, are there any suspects? No, who is not believed to be involved? Here, once again, they added this after the press conference. The male Kaylee and Madison called numerous times during the early morning hours, November 13th. So that was added. And, one thing about this, I get that the language that they've used is vague in the sense that it doesn't say that they have actually been cleared. They haven't specified that. It doesn't specify that they all have an alibi or that they all, that they know 100% that they were not involved, because frankly, they might not have been the killer. Any of these individuals might not have been the actual killer themselves, but it is always possible that somebody was collaborating there was some sort of conspiracy, or they're collaborating to or an accessory or something that was part of the killings, part of the murders. Maybe there was, who knows? I mean, we just don't know. We don't know what the motive is. We don't know who was targeted. So we don't know yet who is most likely to be involved in this. And so they say that they're not involved. And so the fact that all of these people were the last people known to be connected to Kaylee and Madison, at least in the last hours of their lives, brings pause that they actually mentioned this. So it would be interesting to see what other information comes out from the forensics. All right, everyone, I would appreciate if you let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think that, who do you think is involved? What do you think of the coverage so far? And if you like the way that I cover true crime from more of an advocate standpoint, more empowering, let's find answers, let's educate, become more knowledgeable so that we can empower ourselves. I appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. And with that, I will sign off, and there's a few more videos I want to talk about soon, and I should be getting those out to you over the next couple of days. All right, everyone. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.